morning. My name is Robin Esselgesser, and thank you for joining us today, Steel Conversations. I have Tasha Johnson with me today.
Hello.
Now, Tasha, um, I guess I should fill you in. The purpose of this line of interviewing that I do is to talk with strong entrepreneurial women who have a story to help inspire other people. And I picked on you
Yay.
because I feel like from the moment we met, you had this wonderful energy about you. And I feel like we hit it off right from the start, even though we don't know each other
I
very
think
well.
so too. We talked for like 20 minutes
in the middle of the street.
In the middle of the street.
And we have something in common. We both survived. We're surviving.
Yes, still currently.
The April 26th tornado that hit Elkhorn, Nebraska. And I said in my post that one of the reasons I wanted to wait to do this interview is because, people go on with their lives, right? People get busy, and we would like to move past it too. But as I say, not all of us are past the storm, even though the storm, has left us. We're still in the midst of it. It has still had an emotional, physical, and financial effect. You were home that day.
Yes. My husband and I were both home.
Yeah, I was too. So talk to me a little bit about that day, what you were doing and what happened.
We woke up actually the week before that. So I work from home, so does my husband. And my son was home from daycare because all week everyone was saying how bad the storm was going to be. And I'm from Minnesota and Iowa originally. So I've never thought anything of a storm or a thunderstorm. Like we were the type that would always go on the deck and watch it. That was kind of how I grew up. So I didn't think anything of it. And then we woke up that Friday, April 26th, like any other day. And the weather was fine. As I remember, I think it was kind of like today, just kind of clear, maybe a little musty, but and then it was about 1:30. We had a Zoom meeting for my work, and everyone said, guys, it's actually supposed to get really, really bad. So that was the first time, like 2 hours before this happened. I was like, maybe I should, be on the lookout. Okay. Our meeting got done. It was about 2:00, 2:15 at that point, and the weather was starting to get bad. So my office faces east. So those were clear skies because the storm was coming from the west. So my husband at some point got an alert on his phone. Mine did not go off. I don't know why. So I was like, did your tornado warning just go off? And he goes, yeah. So I ran upstairs to his office and we looked out the east window. I'm like, it looks fine. Maybe we should go look at the other side. We go downstairs. My toddler, he's 2, he's sleeping. He's napping at this point. So we were trying to be quiet. We go out on the deck and we're like, oh goodness. Actually, we might want to keep a look on this. So I went upstairs, grabbed my son. I don't even know how many minutes had went by. I was like scared because I was seeing what was happening. I was seeing what everyone was posting, and I think it was Waverly and Lincoln. The tornado was coming through. I'm like, I actually think we need to be serious about this. So I grabbed my son. My son can tell. I can tell he's like, oh, what's mom doing? This is weird. I grab a bag. I don't know what made me think, but I grabbed snacks for him, shoes for both of us, a blanket. I just I don't know. I just grabbed what I could. My work laptop, my purse, everything. Actually, I didn't grab my purse. That's a different story. But and then I went downstairs and I'm begging my husband. He's still out there with all of the husbands on the deck looking at the storm like, oh, this is pretty cool. And I'm begging him, actually crying. I'm like, I actually don't think this is good. Can you please come down? So he came down and then he went back up to look just to make sure. And I don't even know how many minutes had went by, but at this point he comes running down and then I knew, okay, this isn't good. He grabbed the cushion from our couch, put it in front. We have a daylight window. We don't have a walkout, thank goodness. We have a daylight. He put it there and then he put the cushion over us. And I'm like, oh, is it coming? He goes, it's coming for our house. At this point, he had seen it right before the pond over here. And he went running downstairs. So I think it was like within a minute or two of it hitting our house. We're hunkered over. I'm crying, trying to be calm.
Yeah.
I am not. I knew this wasn't good. I could hear everything. And our dogs somehow knew to stay with us. They usually go around and they did not. My toddler's crying because he's like, what is going on? My husband is hovering over me. I'm hovering over my toddler and my dogs. And we have this cushion and we're under our stairs. Our basement is not finished. And we're just like hoping and praying. And he's actually crying at this point too.
Mm.
I said, this is it. Like, I don't think this is good. And I love you. And he said, I love you too. And all of a sudden it gets eerily quiet. And then all of a sudden you hear, so it was really loud and then eerily quiet. And then all of a sudden you hear, when people say it sounds like a train,
Yeah.
It truly sounded like a train. Is that what you felt or
Yeah.
sounded like? Where were you in here?
Well, so,
I know, I'm sorry.
No. And I think, I want to give people, to make them feel like they were where we were. So I had called my daughter that morning and I said, honey, are you aware of the forecast today? Because she works downtown.
Oh gosh.
And my grandchildren, I have a 3.5 and a 1-year-old granddaughter. And they were, going to be at daycare. And I said to her, listen, we need to watch. And if I need to go get them, I will be available to do that because we don't want them at daycare.
Right.
And I said, here's what Bill Ranby is saying. He's saying that now it's cloudy. And if the sun comes out, we're in deep shit.
Oh gosh.
Because that's when things are going to, get tumultuous and that's what we need to be aware of. And she's like, okay. So I'm watching things. I'm working from home that day as well. And I'm starting to get the notices. And so I'm doing a group text. And Michael, my son-in-law, is saying, I'm not sure what to do. And Adrienne's saying, I'm not sure what to do. And I'm saying, the mom and you, yes. I'm like, here's what you're going to do. I said, Adrienne, you stay put, because it's not downtown. I said, Michael, you go get Lorelei and bring little Michael over here. So he woke him up from his nap. And so I've got this bundle of little boy. Oh my goodness. And I'll tell you, and I'm sure you were the same way. You grabbed her. Were it not for me having to take care of him, be responsible for another little human that I would lay down my life for, I'm not sure what I would have done.
Same.
But I came right down here. I turned the chair over because I like you, have that daylight.
Oh my goodness.
And I grabbed him and I, held. And he was scared, but I kept telling him, he calls me Gigi. And I told him, I said, we're okay. I was trying to be convincing. But you're right about the sound. And all I could hear were things.
Yes, the glass
hitting the
breaking.
house.
Yes, and you're like, this isn't good.
Yeah.
And you don't know if your roof is gone yet. Yes.
I didn't have the presence of mind to do all the things that you did. I grabbed nothing but him.
I don't know how I did.
Tell me what happened. So then what happened?
So then we were crying, saying, this is it, I love you. And he said, oh my goodness. And all of a sudden, all of the glass breaking, because our window did, a lot of our windows did break. Our roof was gone in partial areas. So we had heard everything happening. And then all of a sudden we hear this, like it's the most eerie sound ever. And then it was quiet. And I go, like eerily quiet. Do you remember that? It was, I'm like, I think it's done. And there was a point where I said, it's here, it's hitting our house. And he's like, calm down. And I was like panicking. And I know as a mom, you're supposed to stay calm. So that I regret. I hope my son never remembers. Like, I don't know. I know he won't, but I know he's 2, but yeah. I still am like, next time, hopefully there's not a next time. I need to be a little more calm for him. But, so he goes, I need to go check upstairs. I said, please just wait, please. And he went upstairs. He's, the man of the house, feels like he needs to protect. And so he walked up the stairs because I was worried that, because I've seen the movie Twister. I was like, if stuff is falling, like I don't want you to go up there.
Yeah.
So he goes up there and I heard the biggest wail of a scream and cry that I've never heard my husband do this. And he goes, it's gone. Everything we worked for is gone. And I'm like, are you serious? He's a jokester. Dad jokes for days. So I was like, please tell me you're joking. okay, and I walk up with Rowan. Luckily, we all have our shoes on. I had Ugg boots and a crop top and some sweat shorts, so it was not a pleasant look. But I walk upstairs and I was just in shock, shaking, and I was just looking around at our home we have spent the last year and a half building and designing. And I had just gotten my last piece of furniture that Wednesday before, 2 days before. I was looking for the perfect coffee table. I know it's material things, but it's still,
Yeah.
And
Well, it's what makes the house a home.
it's, yes, exactly. And that was the last piece. And I just saw everything, insulation, water coming in now because it was raining, and glass shards everywhere. There were glass shards in our drywall. We had a baseball card. We didn't have them. Some kid's baseball card was stuck in our drywall and our roof. They were like two separate. It was so eerie. I felt like I was in a movie. I truly did. And at that point, I think I truly blacked out. I can't really tell you what happened. My body just does that when I get a certain way. I just don't remember. The only thing,
it's a protective
I
mechanism.
think so, because then I remember just walking around like eerily, and my son didn't want to get down. I think he knew something was going on. And then all of a sudden we walk outside, we're like, what do? We tried to call 911. I have a 17-year-old stepson, he's 18 now. They were locked down at school, in high school, thank goodness. We were trying to get a hold of him to make sure he was okay. He was trying to get a hold of us. We were trying to call 911 and the lines were not going through. And then we walk out and see all of the neighbors, everyone is hugging, and I do remember that. Our neighborhood has always been pretty close, but I think this sadly brought everyone together.
I do too.
Before I would see somebody and I just wave. Now I actually stop and say hi. It's sad it brought that. This is what took it. But
I think we need to remind people too that I think what made part of this so devastating is, if you don't remember, we had this moment in time where that's true. The tornado went on its way and devastated some other neighborhood. And we were all outside, and I remember holding little Michael and just
looking. It's like a movie.
Seeing,
it's like a movie set.
And what I did instinctually, because by now my daughter is calling me like, what's going on, what's going on. She told her husband, because Michael, wanted, to come home, and he would gotten to daycare. And she said, this is funny because I can just hear her. She said, if the tornado doesn't kill you, I will. If you leave that spot, And of course she's wondering what's going on. And I am at this moment, panicking for her, because I know, I know that I don't have part of a roof, and I know that my windows are gone, but I've got a structure, but I don't know what her home's like, because she is a block and a half. She's in this development too. So I tell her, I said, okay, I'm going to go see, and she's on the phone, and I am just, by that point, there were, I've never seen so many police cars, ambulances, fire trucks.
I have goosebumps thinking about it.
I know there were so many people, and I'm trying to get, around the corner and up the street, and I'm afraid to come around the corner because I don't want to be the one,
to say,
yeah. But I remember saying, okay, all right, okay, it's there. I think it's cosmetic. The fence is gone, the play yard's gone. I see some issues, but it's there. It's there.
It's not leveled like the rest, right?
And I said, please don't go anywhere yet. I don't know where the tornado is. I don't know what's going on. But in that moment, the skies let loose again.
Yes.
And so for people like you who were scrambling and trying to salvage, I don't know, photo albums,
wedding
clothes,
albums, wedding videos,
jewelry that had been passed down,
birth certificates,
all of the important paper, all of that. It was compounded by the skies letting loose again, and then just this torrential rain and hail.
When no one had roofs.
No.
Yeah, it's like, oh, okay, now you're really gonna make it worse.
Yeah.
It was just devastating, and I think everybody walked out in shock. My husband, actually, we could see out our daylight window, and the homes are walkout ranches across from us. He did not think they made it. They were leveled out completely, and we were shocked, and everybody was walking out like it was just so surreal. It's nothing, something I'll never forget.
I can't
And then
believe no one was hurt.
me either. And I truly think it was the time of day
I do too.
that it happened. I think if it was at night, I
Yeah.
think we'd be talking about a way
Much different story.
situation. But kids were locked at school.
Yeah.
Thank goodness the teachers and faculty said, let's
Mhm.
sit this one out. And I'm
Mhm.
glad they did. Daycares, I know, locked it. I kept my son home from daycare that day just because I was like, let's ride this one out. And I'm glad I did. And I think people, we're still at work. Not everyone works from home, is
Yeah.
lucky like us that can work from home.
Yeah.
And I think it would have been a completely different situation. And
Me
I
too.
think of if it happened at night, my stepson's roof completely came off. It would have sucked him out. I mean, yes, we would have probably been in the basement. It's just a lot of what ifs. And
Yeah.
could have been worse. It could have been a lot worse. So.
Yeah, and at this point, I mean, it's, and I always hear people say, which is true, stuff can be rebuilt. Things can go back to the way that they were, and that's all true.
Yeah.
But it is a process, and it is
your home.
Yeah, it is your home, and it's the memories that you've built to put that dish in that whatever that looks like. And I think as women, we are nesters by nature.
Yes.
We do, that's how we create memories, and we create the environment through our home. We want it to feel a certain way. I was told that my basement has a trendy vampire look, but anyway.
Trendy vampire? I would not say that at all. This is beautiful.
But anyway,
hire that person now. Let's throw on your payroll.
So however you describe that, I mean, we want people to feel a certain way and a certain level of comfort. And that's where, your son is going to remember all the Christmas mornings and all the breakfast conversations and the schoolwork doing at the kitchen table, whatever that looks like. So it's daunting, getting everything back, working with insurance companies, working with builders, working with contractors. And I said to people, to be very careful, because if something like this happens to you, what I don't want you to do is not do your due diligence. There's this kind of situation brings out the best in people, but it also brings out the worst. And there are contractors out there who want to take over the entire project and do all of the liaison between you and the insurance company and them. And while that seems like it might be a good idea, it in fact really isn't.
No, you have to look out for your own.
You have to take the reins, and you have to be your own advocate. But so talk to me a little bit about how the process, has been for you and the rebuilding. I mean, yesterday, what was left of your home was demolished.
Yes.
I mean, the bulldozer was out there and it all came down. I had tears in my eyes, and it wasn't my home. It was just unbelievable to see that.
It is. Again, it's like a movie. I'm like, is this ever going to end? No. Yes, in a year it will. So the insurance process, everyone, after that day, I let it kind of sink in. I didn't file a claim until that next Saturday. I had to, we tried to salvage as much as we could, because not everything was ruined, but most of it was. So we were trying to save anything that we could. We had friends and family that came that Saturday to help us. And then after that, I want to say the honeymoon stage. Yeah, it's where everyone kind of says, oh, we're here for you, which yes, they are. But my biggest thing, if anybody is ever going through this, I think the most offensive thing to me was, well, yes, at least you're alive. Yes, I understand that. But then they would say, it's just material things. It doesn't mean anything. And that's easy for people to say to you. But me hearing that hundreds of times over the last couple of weeks, I know people mean well, and I don't mean this to come off ill, but that's maybe my biggest piece of advice is maybe don't say that to people, because it is our home. This isn't just stuff. So, so the insurance process, we filed a claim, and we had to fight tooth and nail for about 2 weeks to get an actual total loss. They kept trying to fight with us to have it just be, oh, they're just going to go down to the studs. It's like, no, this isn't. And finally, after everything, we fought. We're still dealing with insurance. We just got it, as she said, demoed yesterday. So we're in the process of now being able to rebuild, get our plans together. And it's now kind of the fun part, but it's been a long, I think it's 7 weeks today, isn't it? That this
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah, I think
So it's
you're right.
been 7 weeks and I still drive around and I still see some homes that are not even demoed yet. And
Yeah.
it truly depends on your insurance policy and who your insurance agent is, if you're fighting hard enough. And it's been a long process, but we're finally light at the end of the tunnel. And I see, it's like we went through this, can't change it. It made us stronger. It made our marriage stronger. It made our family stronger. It made our community stronger. It's ironic because I was telling my husband probably a month before all of this happened, I'm from a small town in Iowa. And anytime something would happen, like somebody had cancer, there's always a benefit or something like that. And I had said to him a month before, gosh, I don't feel like we're a part of like a small community where you go in the store and everyone knows everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And karma, now it couldn't be further from the truth. I mean, there are people who have reached out to us that I was like, I haven't talked to you in years. And this community has just been so amazing. Not just Elkhorn, I would say the entire Omaha community, my work community has been amazing. It's just really brought in a lot of people closer. So we're finally at the end of it, I think. So.
Well, and I hope that feeling lasts. It's kind of like it's almost like a death, right?
Yes.
Everybody comes to the funeral, and then everybody goes on about their own lives.
The honeymoon stage is gone.
But we're still.
It's like, hey, we're still here.
How long was it before you got a good night's sleep?
I'm still not. I'm gonna be honest. Well, for the first month and a half, we were sleeping on air mattresses. I was on a twin air mattress, and my husband was on the one with the dogs. So I truly haven't had a full night's sleep since it happened, and that's okay. That could be because my husband snores.
Well, in all fairness, there's that.
Or it might be the fact now I'm on Pinterest, just like I have a board that, rebuild process, like getting ideas. It's just, I just feel like I can't shut down right now. And I know it's temporary and that's okay. So I know it's a phase, it's a chapter, and that's what's getting me through it. And it's okay. We're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. We'll be back. We're going to have the best block parties ever.
Exactly. That's what we talked about. We're going to have to have a big celebration somewhere in the street. Yeah, it's so you have a temporary living situation now, right? Until your home is done.
So for the first month, because we were in Underwood, Iowa. It was our friend's rental. They offered it to us for a very good price. So we took that because we didn't know where we were going to go.
Yeah.
We have two dogs, an 18-year-old and then a 2-year-old. There's no way we could do a hotel. So like, okay, until we can find something. And it was really hard to find a 3-bedroom anywhere for temp living that would allow dogs. I tried. I was on the phone with every landlord, every company. Dogs, nope. I'm like, okay. And I, at this point, didn't know.
Husbands will take.
What's that?
And husbands will take.
Yeah, exactly. I know. It's like, okay. And then, so I was on the phone with them and they kept saying no after, and I'm like, okay, I'm discouraged. We're just gonna have to be out here. And it was a 2-hour commute every morning because I still wanted to keep my son's routine as much as possible. It's not fair to him. I wanted him to go to school with his friends. So I was making sure that happened, and it was a 2-hour commute in the morning and then a 2-hour commute at night. So it was the longest probably 5 weeks ever, but I made it. And that was my time to kind of just cry a little bit. And I think I needed that to just grieve the process and let it happen. So it's kind of meant to be. But now we are in temp living just across the street from here, which is nice. I'm back in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm myself again.
Yeah.
And it's good.
Yeah. So you work from home. What is it that you do?
I staff travel nurses. So it's been a busy couple of years with COVID, but I staff travel nurses. So if you go to a hospital and you have a traveling nurse, we may have placed that person. So it's a good, never knew it existed before. I did this, and that's where I actually met my husband as well.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, he just came over to my desk one day, a couple times. He was like trying to, and I'm like, who is this guy?
For no no reason
Yeah, he's like,
whatsoever?
oh, who's the? I'm like, and then one day I pretended to be on the phone. I was so nervous. He kept coming over. This is so awkward. I'm like pretending I'm on the phone. I'm like, hopefully this does not ring because can you imagine? Yeah. And it didn't, thank goodness. But he kept coming over, pretending to talk to my coworkers, and he was really trying to like see, oh, who's the new girl? And then he asked me out to happy hour. I show up. I thought it was a group of coworkers. And he goes, oh, no, it was just me and you. I go, oh, it's a date. So then I think it lasted like, it was a 12-hour date, 10-hour date. And we just talked the entire night. And then the rest is history. So, but yes, to answer your question, yeah, we staff travel nurses together. So we both work at the same company. So it's been awesome. Best job ever. They have been so supportive over this whole thing.
So how is it working from home for you?
I love it. I feel like we are more productive. You don't have the commute. I log in after hours, before hours, on the weekends, whereas before you'd have to physically go to the office. I feel like I get more work done that way. I like the convenience of, not having to go downstairs to the break room and then you get stopped by everyone talking to everyone every time you go get a cup of coffee. It's just, I go grab my coffee and then I go back to work.
Does your employer do a good job of making everybody still feel connected?
Oh yes, absolutely. We have meetings.
I always hear that that's not
our company.
done very well.
Our company is, and we still have outings every couple months, but we have meetings every day with each other so that we're still face to face. And
nice.
my job, I'm on the phone all day, the entire day, so I always feel connected to people because I mean it's kind of sales, if you will.
Yeah.
So I'm constantly talking to people, so I don't ever feel the seclusion that some people do, and I think me and my husband work for the same company. I think that helps too. I can, if we need to vent about something, he's right there, and it's been great.
And he understands.
He understands the exact work I do.
What you're going through.
Exactly. It's been great. And we got engaged working from home. We truly like each other, thank goodness, because right now we don't have separate offices. We're working at the kitchen counter until our home's built. So we really like each other, thank goodness.
that is always a plus.
It's a test. It's a test some days, but
it is.
It's been good. So we're very lucky, and yeah, I can't imagine going back to the office, honestly.
Yeah.
If they made us, I'd be like, ooh, how do we think this? No.
Yeah. I just wondered because, if I, as a consultant and someone who visits small businesses trying to help them, kind of bridge that gap, I hear that more often than not from the staff, that they just feel so disconnected and that the company isn't doing anything to make sure that they are still feel like they're part of something.
It truly, and I think we have team leads, we have managers.
Yeah.
Everyone is so close. There's no cliques or anything like that. It's truly the best company ever. So I'm very lucky. So, but I have heard stories at other companies, like bigger names, but yes, that it is, you feel kind of secluded a little bit, but not ours. So we're lucky.
So what's the biggest challenge in your life right now? I mean, what do you feel like is something that you really, kind of, other than the home? I mean, is there something that you're, just every day trying to plow through?
I've been always a pull up my sleeves kind of girl that, it's the early bird gets the worm kind of thing. And I kind of take each day as it comes. I know that sounds cliche, but it truly is. My dad passed away, 6 years ago. That was probably the hardest thing I've gone through. And then since then, I've been very lucky and I've just worked hard, grinded every day. And this really is the last traumatic thing. So within 5 years, I've been pretty lucky that I hate to say that, but there's nothing really that would stop me from wanting to wake up every day and do it again. I kind of lift up my sleeves and just go to the next day. But right now, honestly, the tornado's the only thing.
Yeah.
It's like, just get through that and then I will be good. Because things had finally started to slow down after we built this house. My son was in the NICU for about 30 days, 2 years before that. So I guess that was traumatic, but this really is it.
Because your son is 2?
He's 2. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So he was born 6 weeks early. I had pre-eclampsia with him. So he was in the NICU for about 30 days in July 2022. So since then, we were hoping this was our year where it would slow down a little, and it's not, and that's okay. That's okay. So,
are you and Tim done having children as far as you know?
We're actively, gosh, we're good, trying,
Yeah.
yes, we're trying now. So hoping to have at least one more, maybe two, we'll see.
God.
I know, I'm like, oh, and you know,
I can't
he's
imagine.
older and I'm older, so we have to, you know, decide now if we're
Yeah.
gonna have more or not,
Yeah.
so, but.
Yeah.
Nope, we're hoping to have at least one more, so that way Rowan has a little brother and, or sister, whichever,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Well, we'll have to get Rowan together with
I
Michael.
know, because they're almost the same age, aren't they?
Yeah,
Three?
Michael's just, yeah. a
He's
little bit,
3, so
yeah.
he's 2.
Mhm.
And then our neighbors have, a 3-year-old as well, so we're gonna have to have little block parties and pool parties and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So this will bring everyone closer, it really will.
I
So,
think so too.
I do, I really
Thank
do.
you so much.
Yes, I talked your
appreciate
ear
it.
off, sorry.
No, I love it. I'm so happy you were willing
Oh,
to
thank
sit
you for
down
having me.
and share your story.
Yes,
So
of course.
thank you so much to everybody. You can find us at steelwhispers.com, and somewhere down there will be a button to the website. Thanks for joining us, and have a great day.